Your cat is secretly dehydrated right now, even if they just drank water 10 minutes ago. And the food you choose every single day is either making that worse or quietly saving their life. Most cat owners never think about this. They grab whatever's on the shelf, pour it in the bowl, and move on. But what if that one simple choice, wet food versus dry food, was changing your cat's kidneys, their teeth, their mood, their weight, and even how long they live? What if feeding your cat wet food every single day was one of the most powerful things you could do for them? Let's talk about what's actually happening inside your cat's body when you open that little can. Cats are desert creatures. Here's something that blows most people's minds. Cats evolved in the desert. Their wild ancestors, small African wildcats, lived in some of the driest places on Earth. And over thousands of years, their bodies adapted to survive with almost no water at all. How? Because they got all their moisture from the animals they ate. Fresh prey, mice, birds, lizards, is about 70% water. Their bodies learned to pull hydration straight from food. Fast forward to today, your fluffy house cat still has that same ancient body, same kidneys, same biology, same deep, almost stubborn resistance to drinking water from a bowl. Scientists call this a low thirst drive, meaning cats simply don't feel thirsty the way dogs or humans do. They can be genuinely dehydrated and still walk right past their water bowl without taking a sip. This is not laziness, this is biology. And it means that if your cat is only eating dry kibble, which is about 10% water, they are almost certainly not getting enough hydration, day after day, week after week, year after year. The hidden dehydration crisis. And here's where it gets serious. Chronic dehydration, that's long-term, low-level dehydration that never fully goes away, is one of the leading causes of kidney disease in cats. And kidney disease is the #1 killer of older cats worldwide. Not accidents, not infections, kidney failure. The kidneys are basically the body's filter. They clean the blood, remove waste, and keep everything balanced. But when a cat doesn't get enough water consistently, the kidneys have to work harder to concentrate urine and flush out toxins. Over time, that constant overwork causes tiny amounts of damage. You can't see it. Your cat won't act sick, but the damage is quietly building. Now, here's the beautiful flip side. Wet food is typically 70 to 80% water, the exact same moisture content as fresh prey. When you feed your cat wet food every day, you are essentially tricking their ancient biology in the best way possible. You're giving them hydration without asking them to change their instincts. Their kidneys get a break, the toxins flush out more easily, and study after study shows that cats who eat wet food regularly have significantly better kidney health over their lifetime. What wet food does to the kidneys. One study published in Veterinary Nutrition Research found that cats eating wet food produced nearly twice as much urine as cats eating dry food. That sounds like a weird thing to celebrate, but it matters enormously. More urine means the kidneys are flushing more waste. It means toxins aren't sitting and building up in the bloodstream. It means those delicate kidney cells aren't constantly straining under pressure. Think of it like this. Imagine you had to run a marathon every single day. No breaks, no recovery time. Eventually, your legs would break down. That's what chronic dehydration does to a cat's kidneys. But wet food gives those kidneys a rest. Not a vacation, just enough breathing room to stay healthy for years longer. The urinary tract surprise. And it's not just the kidneys. Cats fed dry food are significantly more likely to develop urinary tract problems, things like blockages, crystals forming in the bladder, and painful inflammation. These conditions are so common in dry food cats that vets have a name for the whole group of disorders: feline lower urinary tract disease. It affects millions of cats every year. The reason is simple. Without enough water, urine becomes too concentrated. Minerals in the urine start to clump together and form crystals, tiny, jagged particles that scrape against the walls of the bladder and urethra. In male cats especially, these crystals can cause complete blockages. That's a life-threatening emergency that requires immediate surgery. Wet food dilutes the urine. The minerals stay dissolved instead of clumping. The whole system flows freely. Something as simple as switching to wet food daily has been shown to dramatically reduce the risk of these painful, dangerous problems. The weight nobody talks about. Now let's talk about something that surprises almost every cat owner. Wet food actually helps cats stay at a healthier weight, even though it might seem heavier or richer than dry food. Here's the science. Dry kibble is calorie-dense. A small handful contains a huge number of calories, most of them coming from carbohydrates, starchy fillers like corn, wheat, and potato that cats didn't evolve to eat in large amounts. Cats are obligate carnivores. That's a fancy way of saying their bodies are designed to run on protein and fat from meat, not carbs. When cats eat too many carbohydrates, their bodies convert the excess into stored fat. Sound familiar? Wet food, on the other hand, is mostly protein and water. Fewer calories by volume, more protein by bite. When a cat eats wet food, they feel fuller faster because the protein and water together triggers satiety, that feeling of being satisfied and done. They eat what they need and stop. Their blood sugar stays more stable. They're less likely to overeat. Studies have shown that cats switched from dry to wet food often lose weight naturally without being put on any kind of diet, simply because their bodies are being fed in a way that matches their biology. What happens to their coat? You might have noticed this if you've ever changed a cat's food. Within weeks, sometimes even days, the coat can change dramatically. More shine, more softness, less shedding, less dandruff. That's not a coincidence. High-quality wet food is typically rich in animal-based fats, including something called omega fatty acids. These are the building blocks of healthy skin and a glossy coat. When a cat gets enough of these fats from their diet, the skin produces just the right amount of natural oils. Those oils coat each strand of fur, giving it that sleek, healthy shine you see in cats who are thriving. Poor coat quality, dullness, flakiness, excessive shedding, is often one of the first visible signs that something is off nutritionally, and improving the diet is often one of the fastest ways to see a visible difference in how a cat looks and feels. The dental debate. Now, here's where things get interesting. You've probably heard that dry food is better for cats' teeth. That crunching action scrapes off tartar. It's repeated everywhere, on pet food packaging, at vet offices, on the internet. But the science tells a more complicated story. Multiple veterinary dental studies have found that the majority of cats don't actually chew their kibble. They swallow it whole or crack it once and gulp it down. There's almost no meaningful scraping happening. And even in cats who do chew, the cleaning effect is minimal, nowhere near what's needed to prevent dental disease. So what actually causes dental disease in cats is bacteria in the mouth forming a sticky layer called plaque, which then hardens into tartar. That process isn't stopped by crunching kibble, it's stopped by regular toothbrushing, dental treats specifically designed for this purpose, or professional cleanings. So the dry food equals clean teeth argument, it's mostly a myth. Your cat's dental health depends far more on other factors than whether their food crunches. The mood nobody expected. Here's something that researchers have started paying more attention to. Diet affects mood, in cats just as in humans. And the connection runs deeper than most people expect. The gut, the entire digestive system, is lined with millions of nerve cells. Scientists call it the second brain. It produces many of the same chemicals that the brain uses to regulate mood, including serotonin, the chemical most associated with feelings of calm and happiness. What a cat eats directly affects the health of their gut, which directly affects how those chemicals are produced and balanced. Cats on high-protein, moisture-rich diets, like what you get from daily wet food, tend to have healthier gut bacteria, fewer digestive problems, less bloating and discomfort. And anecdotally, countless cat owners who switch to wet food report that their cat becomes calmer, more affectionate, more playful, less anxious, more present. Is this guaranteed? No, but the link between nutrition and behavior is real, and it's worth paying attention to. The age factor. As cats get older, and we're talking 7, 8, 9 years and beyond, their ability to absorb nutrients from food starts to decline. Their digestive systems become less efficient. Their sense of smell weakens, which matters enormously because cats are guided almost entirely by scent when deciding whether to eat something. Wet food has a much stronger smell than dry food. It's more aromatic, more appealing to a cat's nose that isn't what it used to be. Older cats who've lost interest in eating, a dangerous and heartbreaking problem, often regain their appetite when wet food is introduced. The moisture becomes even more critical in senior cats, whose kidneys are already showing the wear of years. Senior cats on wet food diets consistently show better body weight maintenance, better kidney function markers, and longer survival times in veterinary research. That's not a small thing. That's years of life. What you're really choosing. Every single day, when you open that can and set it down in front of your cat, you're making a choice that ripples through their entire body, their kidneys, their bladder, their weight, their coat, their gut, their mood, their lifespan. Your cat cannot tell you when they're thirsty. They cannot tell you their back hurts because crystals are forming in their bladder. They cannot tell you their kidneys are quietly struggling. They just purr and sleep and trust you completely with their entire well-being. That trust is the most sacred thing in the relationship between a human and a cat. And it turns out, honoring that trust might be as simple as what you choose to put in their bowl. Wet food every day isn't a luxury. It isn't spoiling them. It's speaking the language of their biology. It's giving them what their wild ancestors ate for thousands of years before anyone invented a bag of kibble. Your cat doesn't need a miracle. They just need you to understand them a little better. And now, you do.